Okay. Give me a sec. I'm trying out OBS instead of Streamlabs for once. I don't know. I don't know how much I like it, in all honesty. Especially because I have to fix everything again. We'll see how it goes. Okay, so, well, actually, let me start by turning this down a little bit more. That's in the background. Yeah, that'll do. Okay, this weird lol. I don't know how much I like it, right? So, the release schedule for sets currently, right, since Bright Lights, or maybe even before Bright Lights, is spoilers for, you know, half a month. Then we go the world event, right, first release, for, you know, a couple days. Then we go the wider event, wherever it is. So, for instance, Heavy Hitters was down under, right, in New Zealand, and now Tokyo for Miss Vale. And then we have this week gap before the pre-release events. And then after that, we have another week gap until the actual release of the product. And I feel like this is quite jarring, in all honesty. I should actually be able to find it if we look at Miss Vale. Because what happens is all this hype is built up until, you know, this point. And then, in all honesty, it feels like it just drops so much. Right, so where's the schedule? Okay, yeah. So 17th, world premiere, then that weekend is the calling, right? Then we have sealed, right? But again, all in Tokyo. And then after that, we have pre-release, which is the following week, right? And then after that, we have release, which is the week after that. And it feels like that's those 5 days in between each event, right? Each big celebration of the set just feels so jarring, in all honesty. And almost like it should be condensed down into a week, right? Which I know they target weekends, right? Friday through Sunday, so that they can, you know, run these events in, you know, say it's in Tokyo, well, people who are in Tokyo go at the weekend, and then anyone who's coming from elsewhere, you know, can plan around it being, you know, this 3-day stint in another country. But yeah, I don't know, just it kind of feels off, right? We got through the previews, super excited. If you love the set, you love the set. If you don't, you don't. You drop off by then. But that's fine. It's still a lot of talk, a lot of buzz, a lot of excitement towards it. World premiere hits. Everyone tunes in. We watch boxes open, and we get our fix almost, right? And then the actual events, calling Tokyo, right? Fun, nonetheless. And then, yeah, 5 days later, we get the actual pre-release events, right? If you go to them, you go to them. Get your cards early. You get to play limited, or, well, it has to be limited, right? Either way, you have your fun, you have your fill again. And then we get the actual release of the product, right? And this break from the spoiler season to the actual product is a huge gap for anyone who's not involved in the events, right? But are just interested in the set. And yeah, just like you look on Reddit, you look on Discords, the level of buzz and excitement and discussion around the set built up and pinnacled here and is dying down, right? You have some discussion about what to play at the limited events, deck teching and advice and all that, and that's fine. And then another lull, and then the actual release. And it's really weird to me because they could be, capitalizing like every other TCG on FOMO, or they could just structure it a little bit nicer where you have this big enjoyment. But yeah, that's my honest opinion, right? Just, again, feels a bit off since we're in that lull, right? But let's get to the actual articles. I have not been keeping up to date, and there have been a few. So we have the new back alley Oracle, right? Some changes to Arcane, Into the Mist, the primer. Well, actually, no, that's the primer. This is just the sentiment, right? And the primer. They'll probably do, right? Anything else I missed? The calling, recap, and all that. I think we'll leave off on Blaze. Yeah, it's fine. And the Living Living Legend adjustment. I've looked over it. Again, I'm not a big fan with the constant changes, in all honesty, but we'll leave that be. So, the changes. Legendary, right, is retroactive. So, in certain sets prior to Mistval, for instance, they're citing Monarchia, right? Any card that has a legendary tag, you can run multiple copies, which is pretty interesting because Soul Harvest is in the rare slot, right? So, in limited of Monarch, could be a little bit more spicy. You get to run a ton more of them, right? But overall, I don't think it has much of an impact, right? Because they didn't design the sets all limited with that functionality in mind. It's definitely a Mistval thing where we have the Transcend cards across the plethora of slots. Fork Lightning. Now, Fork Lightning is part of the old era of cards, right? Anything from Welcome to Wraith, Arcane Rising, and Klloo, I would definitely cite as having weird language, right? Inconsistent language in comparison to what the game is currently. For instance, you can take something like Lead the Charge. Lead the Charge is a very gross outlier because it's clear that they put a bottleneck on action point generation, right? And there are ways to get around that, playing Go Again at instant speed or anything like that, but Lead the Charge is just straight up gain action points instead of, the next thing has Go Again. So Fork Lightning, they promised themselves that they wouldn't have to deal with this card again, but here we are. So Fork Lightning is a unique card. It was designed early in Flesh and Blood with two specific goals in mind. If you buff it, it should double the buff, and Arcane Barrier only applies once. Now, basically, they're saying that this is no longer necessary because Arcane is in the pipework, and I would full-heartedly assume that they just have a straight-up better syntax version of this card, right, where it will just be, if anything would add to this damage, double it, or something like that. Something nice and simple, where it's not this 2 instances of Arcane damage. So the second goal is, in particular, was given to Kano. Let's try again. The second goal, in particular, was to give Kano the ability to burst through Arcane Barrier in blue heavy constructed decks such as Guardian. However, the rules have had to be bent specifically for Fork Lightning to justify why dealing damage this way is special, and why buffs apply to each effect of the damage, but prevention did not. Yeah, so it's just a straight headache again, what they want to do and how they worded it versus how they'd word it nowadays. After much discussion, we've decided that Fork Lightning no longer needs to serve this original purpose. Again, highly assume that there is going to be a new version in the Arcane set, which we'll get to a bit later on, because I don't sadly actually think the Arcane set is going to be the end set of the year. The interaction of only being able to apply Arcane Barrier once is unintuitive and confusing, especially for new players, limits the design space on what they might explore in the future. As such, we believe this is a good opportunity to redress how Fork Lightning and other Arcane damage effects operate regarding buffs and prevention. So, Fork Lightning, just don't worry about it anymore, right? It's 2 instances, so it still gets buffed, because, well, it gets buffed by buffs that affect the card. It only gets buffed once by effects that affect the damage, but Arcane Barrier, since they're separate triggers, you can pay up double. For the publication of the next version of the comprehensive rules, these are the new operations, right? So card-based buffs, basically what I just said, and event-based buffs. Prevention effects operate on the events of damage, not on cards or layers. As such, they can only be applied once per event. But in this scenario, right, it's 1 card, but 2 events. So that's the distinction. Right, so the primary change for Lightning is to acknowledge that it creates 2 events to deal 2 arcane damage. This means that Arcane Barrier now applies for each. Right? Nice and simple. Same with Prevention and Ward, so it would still double pop. Changes to concession and prize discussion. So this is interesting in all honesty, right? Some changes to competition. We are updating our policy regarding on when and how players can concede and the organization of prize splitting. Before we delve into these changes, it's important to understand one of our core motivations. The Living Legend system is a core part of Flesh and Blood, of the Flesh and Blood identity. Actually, you know what? Before I get into this, so my understanding is there have been times where, you know, the nice community thing, you know, we're both in the finals. How about we just make a gentleman's agreement to split the prize, right? Win-win. What LSS is saying is that's okay, but not desirable. Because say you're playing one hero and the other person's playing the other hero. Well, now that means that one of you could specifically concede, knowing that you still get half the prize, to, again, not garner the point gain of the Living Legend system. At least, again, that would be my interpretation of what's to come prior to reading it, right? So it's important to understand one of our core motivations, Living Legend. If the results of these games are determined without a game being played, it compromises the integrity of what the Living Legend system stands for, honoring the success of heroes and their plays in competitive events. Terms can be summarized in 3 points. Players can no longer ask for a concession at any point. Once players have discussed prizes, they can no longer concede, right? Again, just because we have this gentleman's agreement, which again, I think is fantastic. It's a wonderful part of community and sportsmanship, right? And should never be, you know, penaltied. What's the word? Vilified. There we go. Shouldn't be vilified in any aspect. But per the Living Legend system, certain things can't happen. So if you discuss the prizes in any scenario like that, again, gentlemen's agreement, then you must play to your fullest. And whichever hero wins is the hero that actually wins. Discussion about future turns after time is called is considered asking for a concession. So I'm guessing this is, we ran our time playing, but we want, life-wise, you know, this person who's won, but we, between the two of us, are curious who would have actually won, right? Or something like that. Players can no longer ask for a concession at any points. After much internal deliberation, we do not feel that asking for a concession adds value to the play experience as a whole. Previously, the policy allowed players to ask for a concession for presenting their decks, which was in place for friends or teams to organize concessions and get through to the top cut. But what we've found that this policy is most often used for players to ask for, it feels like there should be a comma in there somewhere, but what we've found is that this policy is most often used for players to ask for a concession in return for implicit or explicit compensation. In addition, many new players have felt disheartened and threatened when asked for a concession by their opponents at the start of the game because there was no drawback for the opponent to ask before every match they play. As such, we feel removing the right to ask for concession both simplifies policy for the understanding of both players and judges and will lead to an overall positive benefit for the wider community. So just, again, reining everything in, tightening up the screws. Again, prize discussion, we'll leave that be. We've simplified it, right? And then future turns when time is called. Finally, during a tournament, players who haven't finished their game when time's run out are given an additional turn to be able to finish their games. Players can concede before taking action, but once they continue to play, they cannot concede and must finish the game. This end-around procedure means that a player can make the choice to either concede to the opponent on their own volition or attempt to end the game by playing it out. The reason we allow players this choice rather than simply cut off concessions when the time runs out is because there are many instances where a player would have liked to concede, but was too engrossed in the game to notice the remaining time left. We've seen that, yeah, a lot of people, and a big thing for Flesh and Blood, is you fight to the bitter end, which, again, is lovely. What we've seen is that some players take the opportunity to discuss the game state and conclude who should have won if the game were to continue. This discussion not only extends the time at the end of the round, but gives the opportunity for the player to imply that their opponent should resign, right? So, I guess, mind games. One of us needs to concede, let's discuss it, and then, you know, again, vilify and critique until your opponent concedes, which is definitely bad. As such, our policy has been updated to discourage this type of discussion. In short, once time is called, players should establish if they're going to concede or continue to play without discussing future turns of the game. Players should already be aware of the current game state and be able to make informed decisions about whether they want to concede on their own volition. Final note, we understand this policy is not perfect. Yeah, again, you know, bittersweet, right? There's that camaraderie and the good side of the community where, yeah, discussion is fun. You know, banter back and forth is always lovely, especially in a strategic game like this. But because it's strategic, you can take it that step further and use it against your opponent. We understand, however, we intend to continue to challenge the status quo of price splitting discussions and organize concessions through policy. And we know many fans of the great game support us in the effort to do so. Yeah, there is no great solution. So, but putting stuff like this will, you know, try to trim down on the negative side of all this. Slow play. this is a curiosity to me. So we have a renewed focus on addressing slow play in the competitive scene. This includes an update to the slow play infraction and additional education for judges when intervening in games for slow play infractions. In short, players are expected to play at a reasonable pace, and failure to do so is considered slow play. Slow play is subjective and highly contextual. There is no set time amount to make a decision, and it's often dependent on the game state. Now, this, I think, is a misstep for the longevity of the game. So, yes, there is straight up inconsistency. You can have a really easy turn in hand, you can have a really slow turn in hand. But in saying that, making the ruling so flexible just leads to more issues down the road. If they implemented a chess timer system, right? We got 15 minutes both on the clock. It'll be annoying, the tapping. I can fully understand that. And new for a lot of people, don't get me wrong. But at least that way, I have my load time, you have your load time. During my time, if I need more time for a turn, I can take that time. Then if I have a quick turn, I am rewarded for doing so. But in this sense, right, where it's just, in this scenario, I have this hand, this opponent's doing this. I need to really think, or the board state is so convoluted, right, that creates a real problem, in my honest opinion, for the future of the game, if we are going down this path of heavy board states, which it seems like we are. Due to the nature of how the game is played, it is unreasonable to implement measures that monitor and regulate the exact amount of time a players take to make in-game actions. That being said, players should be vigilant about the time both they and their opponent are taking. Call a judge if they cannot mutually resolve the pace of the play. It is not just about the total time a player takes over the course of the game, i.e. dividing the round time in half, but the time in which each decision is made relative to the game state. Again, way too flexible, in my honest opinion, and I think dividing the round time in half in a strategic competitive game is the correct thing to actually strive for, right? Regardless of the complexity of a deck, fair's fair, or in all honesty, right? Just because you're playing an illusionist, should you be allotted, more like 20 minutes of the 30 minutes instead of 15 to 15 or 25, right? Because your turns are going to be those convoluted actions. Now, the big problem for me is that this is them addressing the issue but doing, in all honesty, nothing about it, right? They're saying you should feel more comfortable calling out this interaction, right? If you feel your opponent's taking too long, then you can intervene and call out a judge. And what this leads to is, again, two scenarios where you have people who either want to abuse it and, again, not in the greatest light, acting dickishly, right? And then you have people who know each other. Again, I assume everyone in the high level of competitive scene is at least knowledgeable of one another, if not friendly and banterful. So are they really going to say, God, you are taking your time, I'm going to call a judge on you? Or again, are you going to try and mutually resolve it, in which case that puts pressure? So overall, a strong, rigid ruling on this would be a lot more favorable, in my opinion, for the long term of the game, right? Leaving this up to the players, leaving this up to, again, put feelings in between of it is problematic. Final note about equipment. With the advent of the cloaked keyword, it has become more important than ever to present equipment properly throughout the game. This I didn't actually realize happened, but people don't put equipment in the right spots, and I could understand cloak being malicious, putting your headpiece in the leg slot, so forth and so on. I also understand not everyone has the gridded gamepads, playmats. That's what I meant to say, playmats. So yeah, this is definitely interesting. Basically, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but it's put everything in the correct spot, which is fine. This was invented for a reason, and should be enforced, right? This is a core aspect of the game, the combat chain and the equipment slots more so than anything, right? So just having that clear, visible, and recognizable, which is another reason why I think they sort of tend to stick away from alt arts, right? Because alt arts for anything for the deck makes it less recognizable, and when you have a very vast card pool, you want to be able to instantly see, that's Crippling Crush. I don't have to turn around, I don't have to read the text. I know what it is because it's discernible from the art, right? So yeah, it makes sense that they are enforcing it. So overall, the main change is just we're cooking, right? We're going to have a Fork Lightning that was actually going to do what Fork Lightning was meant to do without absolute confusion. All right, Into the Mist. So promo kits. I find this a curiosity, right? So we have Zen, Staff, Enigma, Cosmos. I'm guessing it's new dagger, Spectral Shield dagger. right? Because New wants 2 of them. But I'm kind of curious if it's something else. But the 3 equipment, 1 of 14 equipment, actually, that's the curiosity, right? So if we look at all the common, that's 2. Then we look at 3, 4. Then 5, 6. No, just 5, never mind. Just 5, right? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, so of the common equipments, we only count 13. But it's 1 of 14 equipment, which I find... Actually, you know what? There we go. Mask of Wise and Whiskers. Why did we not see that when we looked at Zen? Is it Ninja? Did I not go far enough? Is that the go? It is. Never mind. 14. I take it back. That was pointless. Alright, so you have the rewards, which are always nice, right? I feel like this set's a bit better than Heavy Hitters. So one of the big gripes I had with Heavy Hitters is they took the Cold Foil headpieces out, and they were promos, when I think they would have really helped the Cold Foil set. But everything in this aspect is commons, and I, again, assume if these are the kits, then the armory kits will be these cards in Cold Foil. More so, or less. More or less. Yeah, more or less is what I'm actually trying to say. But other than that, right, enjoy your pre-release events. It's going to be fun, interesting. Again, a weird little lull till then, right? But it's coming this weekend. Not too far away. 3 days, 2 days, depending on where you are. Curious what everyone decides to play. And I'm also curious if this whole 30 deck mechanic is going to continue. I doubt they'll keep with the 8 packs, right? Again, they just want these cards to be specifically playable. If they go back to, say, a tri-class set, I can see them going back to 6. But I think a 30 card deck for limited just set makes it a bit more easy and lenient on them designing cards in the common and rare slots, and then also just speeds up and makes play a little bit better. So I can see them sticking with 30 cards permanently, but not the packs. I can see them going back to 6 depending on the complexity of a set. Right, curious. Primer, what do we have? Legendary, already gone over that. Transcend, already gone over that. Then we have New Zen Enigma. We'll leave that be. Anything else? I think that's pretty much all we need to worry about here. We'll look through Reddit as well. See what's going on. Yeah. That should be fine. Alright. So, what do we have? Anything of note, right? Dardor without Dash's pistol. This is going to be interesting overall. Again, I like the idea. Hero and weapon gone. And in some scenarios, sure, the weapon is dangerous. It needs to go. But in a lot of cases, it's just going to be so weird, right? Dardor without Dash pistol, yeah. Ryan or Levia without mandible claws. It's just, they either print something similar, right, which defeats the purpose, or what? I don't know. It's interesting overall. Budget-friendly Zen. Doing Legend question. What I'm really wanting is the Fluke interview with James, right? Yeah, this one, perfect. So we can just look at the quick notes, right? So Enigma New Moon is the final Marvel in the gold packs, 100 copies in total, only in English, but English is spread across, what was it, German, Italian, Spanish, and English, right? So quite a lot. Could be anywhere from twice as rare to 4 times as rare to even greater, right? If the print run overall is 30,000 across all those languages, then it's 6 times as rare, actually. 6 times as rare as the Emperor, which is pretty insane. PvE, there's still interest in PvE, but it's not going to come out for a long time. Now, this is very bitter to me, and I saw a bunch of things, you know, they're getting tired of being asked this every single time and all this. To me, the game was founded on 3 pillars: PvE, collectability, and the longevity of cards, right? So Cold Foil's new chase element, we're going to strip back sets, make something super impactful. PvE is always going to be in the works. It's going to come out, right? It's another way to play the game. It's fantastic. Gives you those dual facets if you're a competitive person or if you're a friendly person, right? Then, again, with the card longevity. Now, all 3 of those haven't really stood the test of time in their best cases, right? They've been molded and shifted, and that's fine. But the one that has really been foregone is PvE. And because of that, I find it really, again, jarring and a bit bitter that this is the scenario, right? It's not in the works for a long time, despite, again, being something that, you know, I would say brought a lot of people to the game was the prospect of PvE. In fact, that was the main reason that I transitioned from MTG in the beginning to Flesh and Blood, was the prospect of PvE. Now, it's completely and utterly understandable that they want to focus on, again, the aspects of the game that make more money, right? Think of this as an unknown. They don't know how it will do, right? How profitable it will be. So from a company and business perspective, it is, in all honesty, the smartest thing to never really venture down, right? At this point in time, or any point in time, because again, it's that unknown, right? It could be a complete waste of effort versus, again, continuing to pump the competitive scene, working on armory decks, strike decks, everything else that's going on, right? But it is, yeah, a bitter pill for me. Arcane set incoming, no real information about it. In the pipeline, coming soon. Now, this is a curiosity, right? Because this to me sort of says, is it the next set? Or is it set for next year? Something like that, right? I hope that it is the final set of the year. If not, I'm kind of scratching my head because I don't think they do Talented back to back, so I don't think it is Tails, but Tails also makes the most sense. So yeah, Wizard, Runeblade, or something entirely different. Really, just a curiosity. Team pivoted on Blitz, right? They now have a looser approach. Blitz is just this fun format. Again, they could really reinvent Blitz and just make it, again, comparable to Classic Constructed, just at a quicker pace. All you have to do is you know, affect intellect. That's to me has always been the big linchpin of why Blitz is the way it is. Right, you scale down everything but hand size and intellect, which means that health is scaled down, right? But the actual damage outputs and the average turn is still as powerful as Classic Constructed, meaning you have less life to play around with, right? And that's the big issue. So they could, you know, do a blanket format where every hero has -1 intellect, or you know, something fun and creative where you have your intellect, but every turn you must put 1 card to the bottom of your deck and still capture the big strategy of the game. But yeah, Blitz is just going to be fun for a while. So Heavy Hitters was very successful. Now, I think this is just to do with the classes, in all honesty, right? Brute has always been a big fan favorite, same with Guardian and Warrior, right? They are the epitome of the RPG trope for a lot of people, orcs and swords, right? So Heavy Hitters being that successful is a multitude of factors, and does make me curious, right? Because Ranger would be top of my list for another one to redo. Ninja's coming out in Mistveil, so do they go back to Ninja? Assassin's in Mistveil as well. So, I mean, if it's not Arcane, if it's not Tails for the last of the year, it would be Ranger and something. And is that really needed? I don't know. South Korea and South America on the roadmap are currently still working on releasing in Japan. So yeah, it does feel like they're just going to continuously, you know, cycle around the world, which is fantastic, right? As a company, that's wonderful. You hands-on going and building up the game in these new areas. And once they're all settled, then you can go back to other points of interest. Adult China is not currently in the works, but and there probably won't be a new China for at least a couple years. That is, again, really sad, right? Because we have a lot of these little tidbits and, you know, favorite things from the early onset of Flesh and Blood that, again, we're now at the stable point of the game. So them being not corrected or changed or reworked is good in its own right. Don't get me wrong, because, you know, why Cheyenne was Cheyenne is because it's so different and so interesting. Again, going back to the first 3 sets, having very unique wording and card design that doesn't really quite fit the mold in terms of balancing or planning for the longevity of the game. So it's sad to know, but yeah, all these, you know, fun out of the direct vicinity ideas not being in the woodworks is, again, understandable from a business perspective, but always going to be a little bit sad and disappointing, especially because I am a fan favorite of Shiner and the shapeshifter mechanic, right? Retool just a little bit, and it could be really interesting. More lore content is in the works, particularly for part of the Mistveil. The reason why there was a gap is because they didn't have their writers. Sad to see them go, right? Hopefully they get new ones, old ones, better ones, something. overall, right? Lore is a not a necessity for the game, but is definitely a very valid thing, right? They're creating the IP from scratch, so being able to enrich the world is definitely something that is very nice to do, and we hope that everything goes smoothly for them. James White talks about content creators, that's fine. Another dev talk. Will Armory decks be used to introduce completely new heroes? Yes, absolutely, coming next year. Now, that means that the last Armory deck of the year is someone old. So what I could see them doing is Klloo, right? No Arcane set this year, new Arcane set next year. So here's the little, thing to smooth over the run. Here's a Klloo Armory deck. If not Klloo, I would honestly assume them just to take someone from the top half of the Living Legend board, right? It's meant to be new player friendly, right? So that's the easiest thing to do. Take someone who has a good meta relevance and make it easily accessible, right? But we're going to be more interested in what new cards come out of the woodworks. Azalea would also probably be my other big pick for them to use. The map of Wraith isn't totally explored. Lots more places. Again, this goes back to the lore assets. They acknowledge fan-made formats like Clash and will gauge continued interest to see if it's feasible to run those fan-made formats as side events in places like Pro Tour, etc. Right? Anytime the community gets involved is just fantastic, and LSS have a great track record of involving the community. No current updates that they can share today on the future of the XP system. Team is looking into using XP like how the celebrations brought in the top 3 XP players. Yeah, well, perks and bonuses would be fantastic. I mean, you could do something like guaranteed tickets to events. Something like that would be fantastic, or a discount. I think that would be really rewarding, right? Just if you have this amount of XP, turn to, I don't know what you have in America, but we have like flybys and well, I'm sure you have all the airline points anyway, but obviously they now go much further than just airlines. So I can see them doing something like that with the XP system, but more just a threshold to reward the amount of people who are participating in the community and really helping grow the game overall. Discussion about Prism and Visette. So we're never getting Chain, that's fine. Prism, they love Prism. Golden Child, in my opinion. Discussion about promo cards and reprint policy. Senate Arts called for Energy Potion from the Pro Tour Los Angeles as an example. So I believe that was them citing, oh God, what is it? Because it's very weird. Promos can be reprinted into sets. So this is the first cold foil energy pot, and then also promos can be reprinted as many times as they design. So for instance, if they have a string, if they just continuously remade the energy potion over and over again, that is completely fair. But I understand the confusion because the blanket interpretation is always just, once something's a cold foil, it can never be a cold foil again. But that's very wrong. Once something's a cold foil in a set, it cannot be printed again. But if it's a cold foil across, promos, events, and anything like that, it is free reign, which again makes sense because they're not trying to preserve those cards, and those cards shouldn't necessarily be the highest collectible items, right? They're meant to be just a nice little reward. Now, obviously, they do very well, especially the energy pot, but again, in terms of their mentality towards reprinting, it's more to maintain the value of sets and the cards in sets, chase in sets more than anything. Mistveil was initially designed with Asian influence in mind. Okay, that was kind of a given. James White and the team see the Judge Packs containing exclusive cold foils like Art of War wasn't the right thing to do, so Judge Packs should see more changes into Q1 next year. I was completely fine with that, Red. Creating Art of War's obviously a hard pick because it's part of the legacy power cards, right? Similar to other games, if you want to use that terminology. But again, rewarding the community has always been a fantastic thing. Now, in saying that, we want to see it, shared across the board. So having Judge Packs, having, event rewards, and then also having real inbox chase. Kind of like the Marvel Enigma, but to a better extent than it's 105,000, so 1 in 50. I think 1 in 5 would have been lovely. 1 in 50 is a bit, Is it 1 in 50? Did I do that right? Yeah, it's 1 in 50. If it's 100,000 print run, right? So yeah, balancing all 3 aspects does need work, but I don't actually agree with this, right? I feel like you're getting butthurt over something that's really rewarding for the community. That granted, a lot of people, sell their Judge Packs. They don't open them. So Fair's fair. Again, it's like a little bonus. We can't give you money to the same extent. Well, actually, I don't know how the judge system works, but like a bonus, right? We can't give you a monetary bonus, but here's this wonderful thing that either if you cherish the game, you can enjoy and open and love, or, if you want that monetary bonus, do what you will with it, right? Necromancer is by far the most requested class. No timeline was given. James White said it was being worked on, so it's very doable. Be very similar to Illusionist, right? I guess Graveyard or Banished Zone instead, similar to the Shadow Heroes. But again, do they want another Illusionist or do they want something unique? And that's probably what they're trying to figure out, right? But also, again, why invest in a new idea when the first priority should be maintaining and improving what already exists? James White can't go into much detail, but he won't be at any other events. So this is either obviously family circumstances, which is fine. He deserves a relaxing time, all right, and some quality time with his family. Or if you want to get conspiracy-esque, doing something crazy and planning, we'll go with he enjoys his time off, right? James White goes over his creative process. Yeah, that's nice to listen to. Definitely check it out, right? I just wanted to go over the highlights and the notes from it. Next set, I'm going to be curious what it is, but that should probably do it. So let's open something. I have a plethora to pick from. I might just do a few single boxes from a few different sets overall. I think that's probably the better way to do it. I do have to set up my camera. OBS apparently auto-mutes. Interesting. Anyway, the question is, what to open? I have this one singular loose box of Tails. I think we'll start there. So some Monarch. We might do some Klloo as well. Again, my feelings for sealed products in longevity is very much dwindling. I think the newer sets are way better for holding on to than the older stuff, in all honesty. Yeah, I think we'll start with Tails. I think Seek and Destroy is probably what I want most out of it. But again, if you want single cards, buy the single cards. Just doing this for the fun. Plus, you never know, we might get something really nice. Like a, what is it? Alt Art Thingamabob. I really can't remember what it's called. The Lake Frigid. There we go. That is a very beautiful card. I really have to pick up a bin. The other question, because this is what I could honestly see them doing. So if Armory decks next year are a way for new heroes, new heroes is very debatable whether it's new or reprint new, right? So I could see them using the Armory decks to handle a set like Tails, where they're not pumping a lot of cards directly into it, but can handle what's already there, because Tails is already a very strong set, right? I would only say surpassed by Mistveil currently, right? So I think Mistveil is incredibly strong of a set. Alright, so I think everything is at the back from memory, but the cold foil can still be the equipment slot in the middle, something like that. Nope, these are back to being in the middle, right? So junk pile, then rares, then the foil, evergreen, still pretty. Burning Hood, and nothing? Yeah. I can't remember if the cold foil goes there or replaces token. Design has changed a lot over the years, so hard to know. Do that, we'll do that. And we'll leave the weapon slot for the Majestics. So basically, we're only really interested at the moment in the cards that aren't elemental, which there's only a few, right? Very much as the feel of expansion, and in terms of good cards, you'd probably cut out all the common and rare non-elemental cards. Not that there are that many. We've gone way too far. So Ogun Old for our first M. Once upon a time, right? What was it? Fused gains 2+ dominates. And if it hits hero, put 2 random cards from their hand to the bottom of the deck in any order. Yeah. Again, why that wasn't tucked behind a crush effect, I'll never know, but pretty strong. Something else. Alright, Bolton Shot. Actually, Bolton Shot's a very nice card. Lightning Press, and just a Winter's Grasp. No cold foil yet, so that's good. We want a good cold foil, at the very least. I do have a Lake Frigid Old Guard, but I'd love to actually pull one for once. Lightning Press, and nada. Flash, Blink, gain 1 action point. Again, see, this card sort of makes sense. It could be utterly disgusting. Imagine if they come out with a Lightning Wizard. Actually, this would fit very nice in the Lightning Wizard, wouldn't it? Right? But then you'd have to deal with all the other cards. But I don't recall Blink actually being played, because Ranger just didn't need it, didn't need the action point. Well, that needs to change a little bit. Oh, you know what? We get rid of the junk pile and we move over. Yeah, so we can see everything. Well, we get rid of the rares. Do I actually care about? I don't actually care about the rares. I only care about the foil. Foil and end. Change my mind. Bolden, turn timber, which is bite. No cold foil, nothing at the back. Icequake. Sigil. Sigil's actually another really played card, is it not? There's a nice little defense reaction. We don't care about it, though. And Inspired Lightning. Yeah. Yeah. Because Lightning already had a bunch of Arcane. Well, for Runeblade. I can see them doing Lightning Wizard. That's the other scenario I thought of, right? Or I always thought of. If Tails was revisited, Again, the easiest thing to do to call the cards is just to not stick to the 3 heroes we already had. And just go with completely new classes. Nada, Dazzling. So Lightning Wizard. What would Ice fit with? Ice could be... What would actually make a cool Ice one? Nothing really comes to mind other than Guardian or Warrior or Runeblade. Force of Nature. Lightning Surge. Still no Cold Foil. But I would definitely just say the last set of the year is pretty much perfect. Never mind, not the set. Seek and Destroy is what I really wanted. Right, more copies for the new Murky Water? Murky Water is the card, right? I always feel like it's meant to be Murky something, like an arrow, but I think it's Murky Water. The Riptide. But yeah, sorry, the last set of the year. Could in all honesty be anything at this point. I don't... Again, it's questionable if it is that Arcane set. And Tails because they just had Mistveil. Oh, don't care about the res. This is the last card I'm meant to be looking at. Rare snapshots. God, look at that. So beautiful. They really hit the mark with rainbow foils from day one. Except for Nourishing. Nourishing is just a funny one. Oh, we got a bubble. Oh well. That mean we got something good in the pack? Nope, just a Frazzle. Foil red sigil? That's got to be something, right? Nice 0 for 4 if you just ping once, or if that 1 arcane damage gets through. Pulse into Icequake. I don't know, I really haven't missed the cold foil. We're running out of packs here. Nada, and Autumn's Touch. 3 for 7, just blank. It's funny how much use that seeds just give Earth, right? Another Frostfang, Golden, just a common, still a very pretty common. I still think Tails is probably my favorite artistic set. Right? They just look so lovely. Mistveil's close second now, though. Alright, the cold foil has to be coming up. Weave, Rights, Flash, and an Amulet. I have to look it up. See if I have to dig through the giant pile. Fulminates. Polar Blast. Which also goes there. Nada. 3 packs. No cold foil yet. Saving something really good for last. Another Sigil, Icequake, Heaven's Claw, and no cold foil. Evergreen, Snapshots, another Fulminate, Amulet of Earth. Only 1 pack left. At least we got 1 Seek and Destroy. I can't be too upset about that. Bolt, Lightning, Rites of Replenishment, and a Winter's Wail. Again, nice punishing effect. Ice Guard was pitched. If it hits, create a Frostbite, right? Makes that 4. Require 2 blocks rather than just 1 block and take the 1. So it's not bad. Can't say it's what we truly wanted in terms of cold foil. But still, again, M instead of, rare or common. It's always nice. Well, there we go, that kind of shows it off nicely. Right, with a faint glow. Maybe a bit too bright. Alright, so then what next? Monarch, Klloo. I think they're the loose boxes I have within reach. We'll do one Monarch, I think, and then maybe a Klloo to end off. I say that, but I'm probably going to end up opening more than that. But we should be doing it on a box cases. Now I can chop it up nicely for YouTube. Instead of a whole 1 hour case. Something like that. Alright, we'll keep the foils. Doesn't quite matter where they go. Well, it sort of does because I have other foil piles. God. Cold foils. M's. No, we'll keep the cold foils out. That'll do. Alright. On up. There are a bunch more hit until we open this and find unlimited packs inside. Oh, nope, we dodged a bullet. I'm pretty sure all my loose boxes were before that troubling matter happened. But you can never be too safe. Ooh. Okay, so same thing it should be, right? It should be nice and in the middle. Or not, is that the back? Oh, it is at the back. Alright, that makes it easier. So I go with the foil, we take the foil out, potential cold foil, and then 2 rares. Wonder what the mentality was for changing it over and over again. How it got settled. Tome of Divinity. God, does the Misval Tome put this to shame? So, if this card has been put into Hero Soul Stone, if a card, draw 3. Actually, will this see play in Bolton now that he has such easy access to charging his soul? Because again, 4 for a plus 4 for 3 is fantastic. You pitch 2, right? It's neutral draw, meaning you cycle 3 cards, but you float 2 resources, is what really makes it strong. And a Tome of Torments. Just the Tome pack, apparently. Alrighty, I think. Also a nice start for Mono. Go to the foil. Zealous Beating. Time Skippers. And nada. Spears of Serility. Serility? How we pronounce it. Phantasm and Go Again. Very weak. But it's a comment, so to be expected. Oh look, we got a legendary. We drafted this because it potentially had multiple copies. I think it's still a very fringe circumstance. Plus how much Monarch is actually being nostalgia draft, in all honesty, versus, again, how much they've streamlined limited play. Writhing Beasthulk into Triumph. Again, straight up, we gave you Phantasm, now let's print a way around it. When 6 is very much an average. It makes me wonder how Prism, old Prism, right, before all the Spectral Shield shenanigans, would have done if they just, tweaked Phantasm. Instead of 6, it was 5, or God forbid 4. Now, Prismatic Shield's also curious to me, right? Because I want to just make a whole bunch of Spectral Shields and then catch them out. I can see the Prismatic Shield being basically create 3 silver at the cost of 3 cards, cash out Prismatic Shield and the card you pitched. Then you could cash in to gain 1 card back, and then still have 1 silver to cycle. Something like that. Would be interesting. Or even again, set up a turn prior. V for the Vanguard? No, it's just a specialization, it's not a legendary. Yep. Another Spears. No Cold Foil, Pulping, and a Battlefield Blitz. Oh, another Bubble. Curious if their plan was never to do anything, and the community just went nuts about it. I mean, technically, it did get more cracked, did it not? Could have been a cool secret. Halo and 2 res. Rip Through Reality. There's a foil. And a Beacon of Victory. So, what is it? As additional cost to play it, banish X cards from your soul, X can't be 0. Target attack gets plus X. If you charge this turn, search your deck for an action card with X or less, reveal it and put it into your hand, then shuffle your deck. That's the linchpin for all the disgusting stuff Bolting you do know, right? So I do remember seeing, the whole big crazy spin turns, and that feels like the enabler. Yeah, and just search effects are so powerful in Fab. Phantasmify, Ironhide, and then Soul Reaping. So we got both, right? Chain and Levias. Only one of each, so drafting them wouldn't have mattered. You know what I could see them doing? A specialization rule as well, right? Where specializations don't matter in Limited. That could be kind of interesting. But only really work if, we have like another mono class set, like Bright Lights. Hooves, Soul Food, and just a token, Galaxy Black. Secret Horizon, Cold Foil. Gotta be in here somewhere. Memorial Ground. I do like this card, right? So put target attack action card with 2 or less from the graveyard on top of your deck. It's an instant, which actually I think is sort of detrimental to it, because a lot of the uses that you'd love to cheese out with it, right? You want to break the chain, use it, and then fish the top card of your deck, but it's still powerful enough to cycle something back. It'd be fun in if there was a version in for the Zen or something like that. I mean, to be honest, you could Memorial Ground and then do something like Break Tide. I think would be the grossest play I could probably think of with it. Or even Memorial Ground. No, Bond. No, God, I always say Bonds. Ancestral Harmony is an action, but Memorial Ground could be fun in Zen. Food Confidence, right? Very nice, pumpable, kinda CC. It was the CC alternative before TNC, sorry, before Wreck Havoc. No. Another Bubble. Do we have any Bubble luck? Holy Regard, yellow. No Cold Foil, no M. So no, we don't. Alright, War Tune. Yeah. No M, no nothing. Path through. Halo. Still nothing. They just love keeping us in suspense with the Cold Foil, it seems. Impeccable Ball Leaf. No M. 5 packs to go, it looks like 6. 5 or 6. Ah! Good old Dustblade. A very nice looking Cold Foil, right? Because of how the blade looks dark in this aspect with the radiant light coming off it, and then as Cold Foil, just looks even greater because the light like fades into it and it becomes just a much bigger sword. Yeah, nice, beautiful card. Be sad to see Bolton go and take it from play. It also makes me curious what the redesign would be. I guess they'd go down the Gogan routes or something. I mean, I know Axes see a lot of play. But not a bad compound to get, not at all. This is a weird song. Using your surroundings, I guess. Yeah, we'll go with that. Alright, so we got the cold foil. It's an M, so we're happy. Anything but Ironite. Oh, Spill Blood. You like Spill Blood. Axes get +2 and Dominate until the end of turn. Very good with the whole Axe combo. It's not extended. Let's sell Mask of the Beast. I think is that our first foil M? That is some sort of streak on the Vexing Malice. I don't know if I can show it off. Oh, you can sort of see it down there. I get the light right again. Right, you can see there on the black a lot better. It's shining? Kind of looks like it's shining on camera. I will turn this down just a little bit more. I think it's a bit loud. Alright. I don't know what else we could hope for. Oh, Arouse the Agents. Very fun generic. The epitome of go big. If only it had if it wasn't this effect to get the +7, if it was just any points, that'd be really nice, right? Because then it would see a ton of play in Brute. I think it would be a monstrosity if it was ever given access in Brute. But I could also see them doing a reprint, right? Every time you discard or something, if you've discarded 3 or more, +7, something like that. Something insane. Hey, Venetia. I do like Mask of Beast. It is fantastic art. Interested to see if they do more demon stuff. I would like to see, like, with Necromancer Talk and everything, another, like, Shadow-only set, where they go full-on in the Demonology, dead and whatnot. Mask Beast is definitely a very lovely card. I think we'll do one more Monarch, and then we'll do some Klloo. Alright. Means I don't have to take up the piles. It's Monarch on Monarch. I haven't been paying attention, but I'm going to assume Art of War is also going up a decent amount. Always run out of places to put the piles and piles of cards. I suppose if I don't knock them on the floor, we'll do for now. Also, the pulping was a foil, so that should go there. Alright, can we get an L? That's interesting. These are all loose boxes, though. So, I don't know if I hope... Oh god, that's the second pack in a row that's scuffed. I can't remember if Monarch printed the numbers on the boxes, like the Japanese printing. No, they don't. So all Japanese boxes, internally, have the number printed on them, so you can check order. But this is the second card of that Vexing that has a nice line down the middle-ish. Sort of see it. Where, in fact, in this one, where it's not foil at all. Other than that, do we end up with any M's? I don't think we did. No. don't know, are we hopeful for secrets in Miss Vale? I'm pretty sure at this point everything just gets spoiled. And the secret is just the Marvel Enigma. But I do miss just the random alt arts and extended arts just popping up out of nowhere. It's a fun chase. Bit of Vanguard. Into no M. I don't even know where the 4 was. Yeah, was anything good? Chimera into still no M's. Lack of M's is usually a good sign. At least that was the omen. Everyone thought. Here's our first M. Another Tome. Torment is definitely a lot weaker. I think if it was instant, you'd like it a lot more. Because playing it from the banish zone doesn't really matter, right? It's still not of any use unless you have it away to give it instant, which makes it really only for Vized and Chain. Oh, Cold Foil. Carrion Husk. Yeah, and that replaces the foil. So that is definitely a great one to hit. Just so strong. A massive 6 block. It's fantastic. In one card that's on board, and it's also lovely art. Don't really quite get how someone wears it, right? Considering this is obviously a giant demon. But beautiful. Into another M as well. Halo and a Glisten. You're a Guardian of the Shadow Realm, so that's kind of fitting. You definitely want to sleeve it though straight away. So we get an L off a loose box. And it's definitely something we can never complain about. If we look it up, I should probably look it up, right? TCG player. Yeah. Wonderful. Especially because I'm pretty sure I don't have one either. Finding especially older cards like that, pain in the ass here in Australia. Yeah, good old, last sold for 130 USD. So it's what, like a $200 card here in Oz? Beautiful. Too beautiful and did not show up. Is that better with the lighting? Sleeve sort of wrecks it a little bit. That's exactly why I enjoy opening. The surprises are always fun. It's also near the bottom of one side of the box, which means there could be a cheeky another cold foil on the other side too. Good old stubbies. See, would stubbies really be broken if they allowed it in every class but Ninja? We also have a very just lackluster amount of Majestics in this box. That's why you always do the one more. Exude Confidence. Same treatment as Nourishing Emptiness, right? They decided to go very minimalistic. It's a lot better than Nourishing Emptiness. Nourishing Emptiness being just the crown or whatever always throws me. That's a beautiful card as well. Oh, it's an M nonetheless. And a Soul Food. Alright, one half of the box to go. So, I'm curious, because this looks a lot better to me than the little trinket new Spectral Shield. But yeah, which one's better? Miss Vale or the OG Spectral Shield? Any M's? No M's. So at this point, we're actually kind of wanting no M's. And just something else way juicier. in the ante, followed by, again, no M. That's weird. I don't know if you can see that, but see like how waxy the border is compared? I don't know if you can tell. If I do that and get the shine right on them, it's like, I don't know, the frame on this is just looking very wacky in person. Same with that one, interestingly. Alright, still no M's. But usually if there's two cold foils, they're like diagonal to one another. So you find one low on one side of the box, on the other side, it's usually high up. Yeah, there's something going on, because this is another fortunate scuff that is not... There's actually a scuff. Ugh. Another exude. At least it's not hitting the good cards. Yeah, that is straight up just a white mark. Go on now. And it's not something stuck on it. It's smooth. Just, I guess, I don't know. There was something on the printer. Rip. Time skippers and no M. Grammar. Nada. 4 to go. Still banking on that second cold foil. I'll take a common, as long as there is another cold foil. I guess actual M's at this point. Still though, the Carrion House definitely makes it worthwhile. Foil Soul Harvest into Invert Existence. Will there be anything left? Looking like a no, unfortunately. Torment, Halo, Seek, and nada. I like your last pack. We can't be too upset because we got a Carrion Husk. Probably always going to be best in slot for Shadow. Just the amount of value a chess piece needs to equate to that 6 block is huge. Nada. Oh well. Now's now. We can't be too salty. But I definitely think that was less M's overall. Alright, the mark was the other pack. So it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, never mind. Alright, 6 non-foil, 1 foil. You know, 2 to 1 foil, 6 inset. That's probably the odds you're usually hoping for. Question is, do we do one more Monarch? In my box of loose, there's 5. That's it's saying to me I gotta do one more, right? Especially since we got an L. We'll do one more. Alright. Not an L, so probably an M. Another M is what we're striving for. Just some nourishings though, I think we'll take. I haven't pulled a single one. It's kind of hard to hit a specific M, but Nourishing is probably the one we want. Nothing yet. Bit worrisome. 4 packs in, no M. Is it 5 packs? Blood Tributes. Phantasmaclasm. Wonderful word. Look at that. A defending hero's hand and choose a card. They put it on the bottom of the deck, then draw a card. Still, 3 for 9 is fantastic. Yeah, and Phantasm just gave Illusion such a big advantage against a large majority of classes, right? Nasty, meh, and Triumph. Was it just Erudition, or were there some other EAs in the set? I can't remember if it's just M's for the EAs. Oh, another Swill Blood. Pretty decent. Another Bobble leads us to an Overload, but no M. Left. At least we're getting enough Spectral Shield tokens for Enigma coming up. I wonder if they made it more common than the other tokens just for the amount you need. Soul Food, eh. God. New against some of the light cards, right? That rely on being on the chain and then resolving. It's actually terrifying to think about. Like Soul Food. Sure, you block with it, you get 6, and then it just disappears. You don't get to your soul. Choreograph, Wraith, Soul Reaping. Beautiful. We love it for Zen. But unfortunately it's a common. The most uncommon card they printed, I think. So far. Mistveil has a ton of them, right? Where the common equipment is quite powerful. But 3 or less. Would that really matter? Because in all honesty, it could say 2 or less, it could say 1 or less, and I think Ninja would still enjoy the hell out of it. Or, well, I'm curious if it was tied to one chain, if that could have put a stop to it. But no, Stubbies is pretty busted. Another Exude. So we got a full playset of them. Let me look up how much Exude is. Oh, I know Deep Rooted Evil is horrible. We'll tuck that away and forget about it. Yeah. How much is Exude Confidence going for? Not bad. $4 foil. It's like $6 here in Oz. I think if the instant effect was a little bit cheaper, even if it was, you know, like pay 1 for 1, or 2 for 1 maybe, even that could have been enough, right? Just to, again, try and get it over those blocks. But once upon a time, before we got a whole bunch of CNC replacements. It is nice, though, to have CNC replacements, not at M, though. Hello. No M. Oh, Stubbies. It's taunting us. Captain School. 2 or less turn gains go again. Seems powerful on surface, but I don't think it's ever played. Mainly, I think because it's front value, right? You have to play it before you attack, which means you also have to pick the option. You don't get the flexibility of deciding, I need the buff, I don't need the buff. Another Mark of the Beast too. Writhing into Nada. Another bubble. That's us. Zealous beating red, which I do actually like for KO, right? Because anything in your pitch zone gets that +1, meaning that it's really easy to get over the 5. And then also it still works for a lot of your discard. 2 for 5 would go again. Pretty nice. Beads of Agony into another Tome of Divinity. And the lucky last pack. That's us. Nothing on the foil. And no M. So, one very good box out of 3, right, is above a case, which is definitely good. Alright, we'll end off. I really gotta learn to talk, go, then come back. We'll end off with some Klloo, I think. Alright, the M's tucked away. I don't think there's any M's to pull out. Foils. I'll leave all the cold foils. Actually, I can slot them somewhere else. Alright, so we're doing Klloo Unlimited. No cold foils. But some juicy rainbow foils. The legendaries, meh. Supplemental cards, definitely good. Arknight Shard would be fantastic. Trailer. Yet to pull one. It's always fun just having that little novelty in the back of your head of having pulled one. Gotten 2 Cheyennes though. God, I love these boxes. I don't know why, but the first 3, for whatever reason, just seem better than everything new, right? Even from Japan. Yeah. It's so sturdy. So well kept together. Alright, these should be nice and quick. They're nice and tiny. Plus I have care tabs, which is wonderful. Oh. So, no tokens. We start off with a Visortronic, Model 1. When you beast turn, draw a card and put a card from your hand on top of your deck. Plus the Arcane Barrier too, right? Which is something you don't really see a lot. Still sees play, I'd hope. Just can go there. Alright, we might as well go through everything, just in case there is something that stands out. Good old Rainbow Foils inset, rather than promos. Nice plethora. God, I don't know why I tried to say that. R's and L's. Nice plethora of wizard cards too for a future arcane set. Was I pulling out the foils? I can't even remember. Because the R2 foils were actually decent. What was foil? Yeah, that was foil. Beat strike. No cold foil, so I can put it over there and not worry too much. I forget what commons we're sort of looking for. During Thorns. No M. Well, salt the wound. Unified Decree. Target weapon gets +3, and the reprise is... look at the top card of your deck. If it's an attack reaction card, you may banish it. If you do, you may play this combat chain. Seems too unreliable. But I suppose you could run like an all attack reaction deck. As goofy as that would be. Or just play the odds. I guess the Romping Club doesn't actually go in the center. It's not an M. Now, foil's back here, right? Obviously a bit more blanket. But a few cards were a bit more tasteful, right? Like the Ira. Just her eyes. I don't know if you can sort of tell on camera, right? But the metal of the sheath. No, sorry, the sword being drawn. Background. And the eyes and teeth of whatever that is. Is that like a... That is some sort of feral creature, I just realized. In a little mine shaft or something. It was definitely strong from the start, but then they perfected the craft. Do I sell singles? I do have singles. I'm in Oz. I don't know if that's relevant. I wouldn't ship overseas. It's really not worth it. But if you're in Oz or New Zealand, and you're looking for something, I don't mind getting rid of cards. But other than that, no. I generally hoard. Once again, Australia is just not quite the market yet, Fab. Blue Box does everything Asia Pacific could ever need. Does depend on what cards you're looking for. Also, Chain Lightning. Next, you may play your next non-wizard. Yeah, let's try again. You may play your next wizard non-attack action card this turn as though it were instant. If you've played another wizard non-attack action card this turn, deal 3 damage to each opposing hero. 1 for an instant effect with a chance to also do 3. That seems really good. Obviously, it's a lot of play. Yeah, not a big wizard person myself. Oh, another foil weapon. I don't know, it's nice pulling those foils. Like the tokens, the heroes. Dynasty still had foil heroes, if I remember correctly. Another M for a skull horn. And a bunch of equipment today. Copper? No M. Alright, half the box down. And I do like our pulls. The Visor Tonic's nice. Fine Center's kind of a dud, though. What's the block prevention? Fine Center can't be defended by cards with costs less than the number of chain links you control. And then if it hits Greater Zen, State Token. Unblockable is definitely nice, but equipment's a thing. Because of the erratas to cost, unfortunately. Oh, Nebula Blade. So that's 3. KO and nada. Salt does not go there, goes there. Ghost Commotion, also a really fun card. I mean, the best case scenario is your opponent lets it through, thinking that they'll get some sort of buff and then you choose nothing. It's just a free 4 damage. Which, unfortunately, right, if it wasn't choose any number, but you had to choose one, then that could actually be, you know, sort of a thing where, yeah, I'll take the 4. Chances are you might give me some sort of benefit. The 1 health would also have to go. Have to be quicken and or draw. Let's start again, right? A retool of this card where you can't choose none. You have to choose 1. And it's just a quicken and draw a card. 0 for 4. I think your opponent might just take it on the chin every time. Then State for the foil. Again, beautiful. Old Mistveil color palette. Alright, Titan. M. And run. Rush Bighorn. Blue too, so not widely used. Righteous Cleansing. This is a wonderful card, as I've seen it used against me. Deals 4 or more damage. Look at the top 5 cards of the deck. Banish 1 or more cards with the same name, and put the rest. So it's basically, at best, banish a card, do damage, and control your opponent's next turn, or at least know what their next turn is. At worst, it's just completely screw them over. I kind of said that backwards, didn't I? At worst, it's, again, look at the top 5 cards and know what they're doing next turn. Or even next 2 turns, depending on how much they block. Or use cards. 4 Cracked Bubble. Into a Spores of War. I wonder if we'll ever get more like Copper Payoff. Well, Constable, Mandible Claw, and a Towering Titan. Alright, last... No, there's 2 packs left. Second last pack. Gets us... Riled Up. And no M. Into... Dauntless. And Nana. So... One big thing I will say that I really liked about the first edition Unlimited model was in Unlimited, how Rainbow Foil is just equipment-wise, right? You can get more than 1 Rainbow Foil equipment per box, rather than 1, Column Foil equipment per box. And that was really nice. Especially because for some people the Rainbow Foils are definitely prettier, depending on the card. Like this background in Rainbow Foil is definitely nice. Alright, we'll do one more. Alright. The hunt for the Arcanite Shard. Can we get lucky? Just a foil and nada. The first pack. Alright, we want a slow burn, right? We want the very last pack to have the Arcanite Shard. That's content. Praetori, Heron's Flight, another... What's Heron's Flight exactly? What was there? Crane Dance was the last. Gets +2 and you may choose one. Can only be defended by action cards or only defended by non-attack action cards. That's kind of nice. I'm trying to think if any of these see much play in a formless tiger, or I should say nameless tiger, Zen. But as much as I love Shifting Winds, I do think it's kind of a little too unreliable at only 3 copies. Would have been cool if there were, some combo cards that set up tigers to have any name. Basically just 4 chances to rename them. Isn't as strong as I'd like it to be. To enable some of these more goofy combos. Darling Helix, Trap, and a Press. Well, Kasai, again. Like to see the heroes, like to see the tokens. Rattle Bones, I think, is a nice M as well. Attention, Kasai. So we have increased attention and release attention. Increased attention is defense reactions can't be played from hand, this chain link. And then the better one, which again I think like their cost should have been changed, should have been alternated. Release attention is 0 cost, and then defense reactions can't be played from arsenal. which definitely seems a lot more impactful. Meet and greet, and no M. $100. So again, you know, a nice abundance of tokens, equipment, and Realm World heroes, which are, you know, just a nice fun thing to put on board. And the cash in. Cash in is curious to me, if it's gone up much. Cash in, non-foil, yeah, a $5 rare. So definitely worth putting aside. Voting bolts, trap, and a press again. Merging dominance, another cleansing. I should look at cleansing while I'm at it. It definitely seems like just a nice crush payoff. So, despite having the history pack, still it's kind of weird actually. $2-ish normal, because the first edition, I'm guessing just because, you know, not enough have been sold, it's cheaper. Promise of plenty. And a nasty, nasty bend. And one card, unfortunately. Just see if we can straighten that out without it leaving a mark. Eh. Luckily, it's a common. It's definitely interesting seeing, you know, box improvements, seeing card quality improvements, because like there's little nicks on these cards more so than any other sets, and even again the Tails and Monarch that we opened had streak marks, had weird stuff going on. Death Dealer, right? Another nice weapon foil. Into just a flying kick, no M. All right, half the box to go. We believe there's an Arknight. Step 1, right? Believe it's there. We did get a Massacre. I like Massacre, right? Pitched away, Intimidate, played Intimidate. 3 for 6, I guess, is a little on the weaker side. 3 for 8 is okay. Maybe if it was 7. If it was 2 cost, I think it'd be a bit too nuts. Seismic Surge. No foil. No Majestic. Another cash in, which is definitely nice. Oh, and a Gaze the Ages foil. I think this is just going to be a staple of Wizard, no matter what's to come, right? Because it's just so much value. Being able to look at your deck and then also return it to hand in some circumstances. Another cash in. Nice speed impact. Snag. I think snag stocks have gone way up, right? Everyone just sees it as a wonderful way to shut down new. Well, I've always thought it's been decent. Yeah, God. It went from $6, no, $1 to $6. It's actually even more, right? There's copies going for $8 right now. It's funny how just one thought, widespread in the community, can affect a card so much. Definitely just a huge speculators market for Fab. Hit and run, no M. Only a few packs to go. Meet and greets, no M. Come on. There's 4 left. One of them has the Arknight. Come on. We believe. It is this one. We'll see. Probably not. But we can dream. Foil, followed by a Mangle. Crush. Destroy target equipment if they have a counter on it. Again, it's not at that point yet. One day Mangle will really shine. Alright. Flying kick. No M. Fine, right? None of these packs had the shard. Springboard. Nada. Lucky last. It's an M. It's a Mandible Claw. It's fine. It is Emerging Dominance. Oh well. You can dream. Still, again, the plethora of tokens, heroes, and weapons. I will always enjoy opening Klloo because of that. Question is, could they have thought up another rarity for promos instead? Probably not. That has to be the way it is. Alt art, again, would be a cool investment. I think what sort of irks me about it is them taking stuff from sets to redistribute it as promos. It was the problem. If they invented something new or did old art and kept what you could find in a set as what you could find in a set, I'd be a lot more happy. Or if they never gave it to begin with. But for a lot of people, obviously, you know, welcome Ray to Klloo and having access to those foils isn't going to be a point of contention for them. Have I been satiated? That's the question. In terms of box openings. Yeah, I think we'll leave it there for today. Close to the 2 hour mark. Is there anything left to talk about? Probably not. I think that's a fine point to leave it at. We got the where would I put it? The Carrying Husk. That's good enough, right? Plus, we did relatively well. 2 M's. Only 1 common hit. Despite, you know, having the jank-ass armor sets. Yeah. Carrying Husk, good enough. So, we'll leave it there. Anyone watching, hanging around? Thank you. Anyone watching, please, thanks so much.